Angela van der Heijden. I work at University of Applied Sciences at the Center of Expertise Social Innovation. The current state of the community is that people in the city, they are research tired. As there is a national program with lots of studies and questionnaires and so on involved, people in the south of Rotterdam, they are subject of research for so many years. And they don't see the results, they don't see what's in it for them. So they're tired of being researched. In the south of Rotterdam, but also in the community, to do research in a community, it's important to make a connection with the community. If we want to do research on-site in the area, which is much more important now because to get funding for research, it's not monodisciplinary anymore. It's becoming much more multidisciplinary, but also much more a collaborative effort, especially because it's very difficult for them to see what it delivers for them, what's in it for them. So we have to get out of the ivory towers of the university into practice, into the city. What we have learned by actually doing research on site already for 10 years is we need to have certain values on how to cooperate with all parties involved. And that's why we made a promise to the city with 3 values: closeness, continuity, reciprocity. If you promise the people in the community, in the city, to do research from these values, you create a learning community. And the only way to create this community is to be there. And we need a half house. We're in the middle of the research area. People know the place, so people come there. People ask questions, but also as researchers and as students, you're also in the area, so you walk in and out. So that helps a lot. And to do research based on these values, we noticed that all parties are much more involved, and it's possible to not only collect data, but also to continue research for long-term and longitudinal research in these areas is, I think, an important aspect. All research parties need to work together, and that's also what the learning community in the half house creates. What we found in developing this way of research is that it's a way of hands-on citizen science research that you can use not only in the half house, but in other places, in other cities, in other countries, because it's a way of doing, a way of value-based research in practice.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to tell you more about the Half House, a project that we also refer to as redefining the classroom. Because we don't want this traditional classroom, right? We want our students to have a space where they can create positive societal impact and experience new ways of learning. And we have been, from the outside of Erasmus-X, been adamant about the fact that we want our students and academic staff off the campus. We want them to get out of their comfort zone into society, into the city. So after quite some lobbying with the municipality of Rotterdam, we were finally able to rent this place, the Half House, which is on the south bank of Rotterdam, just beneath the very iconic Half Bridge. And we've been there now for 1.5 years. And referring to my lovely colleague Angela, we have partnered up with the Hogeschool Rotterdam, and specifically their Social Innovation Expertise Center, EMI op Zuid. Because as you heard, they're already in the area for over 10 years. So they know what it's like to bring education into society. But we're not only partnering with Hogeschool Rotterdam in the Half House, also with SOL. And SOL is a social organization, and SOL is assigned to develop youth hubs in various places in the city, but also in the Half House. So ultimately, half of the building will become a youth hub, and half of the building will be dedicated to the educational institutions. So to the Erasmus University, Hogeschool Rotterdam, and hopefully soon also the Albeda College, so the vocational education. because we think that we need to bring together the students and the staff of all these layers of education. But first and foremost, we want to work with the community of Feyenoord. So when we landed there, we tried very hard to meet as many people around our building, our neighbors, the residents, the parents, the school, the community council, and also the social organizations that already operate in the area. Because on the one hand, we think that the HAF House should be a base camp for educational programs to interact closely with local community. And that's what Angela is also referring to. They're bringing their students in courses to the HAF House to have them work on projects, on the social issues, to listen to guest speakers from the area, but to also go out into the area and just observe and talk to the residents. The other aim we have is that we want to have activities in the youth hub, in the HAF House with the youth hub, so where we have our students and our youth interact together on activities to develop their talents and to gain more insights into each other's lives. Because I'm really certain that human interaction and creating a meeting place is also important to decrease educational and social inequality. So what have we been doing over the last year and a half? We've had loads of activities, team meetings, meetings between students and the youth. We had an iftar last April, but let me zoom in on some of the projects. The first one being the Impact Lab. So we've had a few students from the Hogeschool Rotterdam on social work and from the Erasmus University of Pedagogy work together over a course of 4 months on an assignment which was called the designing of the youth hub. So what should the youth hub look like? What are the needs of the youth? And how will we communicate it to the environment, to the kids around? And they'll be presenting their findings next week. And obviously we evaluate the cooperation and how it hopefully benefited all parties involved. And for the next edition, we want to know what the lessons learned are, and that we can also include the Alberder College. We've had several social impact minors at the HAF House already this spring and last fall. Some of them are from the Hogeschool, like the Urban Health Program or the minor Creating Resilient Cities. But we hope to welcome also from September onwards the nice minor of Jeannie and Lorenzo on education for social change, but also a minor on public health and a minor, hopefully from Impact Space or from our colleagues of Impact at the Core. The idea is that the students do their project work and work on issues that are apparent in the immediate environment of the HAF House. Another project that is really dear to my heart is Community Sharing Buddy Program, which I set up together with EUC, and where we match students and young status holders. Young status holders being refugees who are allowed to stay in the Netherlands, but with the help of the students, they can improve their Dutch proficiency, they can increase their social network, and they can look at their talents. But it's very rewarding for both parties, because you can really notice that they gain insights into each other's perspectives, lives, and backgrounds. And a tutoring crew. So we have a very entrepreneurial RSM student who's gathering a talent pool of volunteers among the students who can help on hands-on activities, on projects in the area, whether it's on homework support or, for instance, currently there are lots of kids' activities going on Sundays, where they can help in facilitating with these activities. And we hope to grow, obviously, this pool of students who like to volunteer on this sort of community work. So just at the beginning of this year, I came across the new report on the impact strategy, and this graph triggered my interest because you see the dimensions of research, education, and engagement. And the examples I've been given, really you can see the overlap between, for instance, education and engagement for the minors and the MDT program or the buddy program, where you have the combination of education courses, but also working and being involved with community, which applies also to engaged research. We'll be researching everything we've done with the Impact Lab, so the voice of the residents and the local community will also ring through. So for me, the heart of these three dimensions, education, research, and engagement, is really the Have House project. But what's next? We'll certainly intensify all the activities, and we'll try to also focus on what works and what doesn't work. But we also have a new project running because we like to pioneer, we like to experiment. And this project is the ESL Law Clinic, and its purpose is that we want our law students to gain practical skills in giving legal advice to real people, to the neighborhood. So we've partnered with the student-led Rechtswinkel, and they're now opening consultation hours at the Have House to really be in touch with the neighborhood, so doing good for community. So to me, the future of education is community-oriented. Thank you.